When you stop chasing, stop begging, stop waiting for someone to see you, choose you, love you the way you deserve, it's like a switch flips inside you. The desperation disappears. The need for validation fades. And suddenly, you're no longer the woman waiting on someone else's approval. You become the woman no man can resist. Because here's the truth. When you detach, you rise. When you pull back your energy, when you stop making someone else the center of your world, that's when they start leaning in. It's not about playing games. It's about owning your power. It's about knowing deep in your soul that you are enough, just as you are. So today, I'm going to break down exactly why detachment makes you magnetic, why men can't resist a woman who walks away from what doesn't serve her, and most importantly, how you can step into this power today. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. It sounds simple, right? But let's break it down, because this single mindset shift can completely transform the way you show up in relationships, and more importantly, in life. Think about the most confident person you know. Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, or even someone you admire from a distance. What is it about them that draws people in? It's not their looks, their money, or their social status. It's their energy. It's the way they carry themselves, the way they walk into a room like they belong there, without needing anyone's approval. That's confidence. And confidence is magnetic. Now, let's talk about what happens when you don't operate from this place of confidence, when you're constantly seeking validation, when you're overly invested in how someone else perceives you, when your happiness depends on whether they text back or not. That's an energy that people can feel. And let me tell you, it's an energy that repels. We've all been there. You meet someone, you start to like them, and before you know it, they become the center of your world. You analyze every message, every conversation, every little action. You start adjusting yourself. Maybe you don't say what's really on your mind because you don't want to scare them away. Maybe you're always available, always the first to reach out, always the one making the plans, and then something shifts. Instead of appreciating all the effort you're putting in, they start pulling away. They seem less interested, less engaged. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Here's what happened. The energy dynamic flipped. You made them the prize. You handed over your power without even realizing it. And the moment someone feels like you need them more than they need you, the attraction starts to fade. Now imagine the opposite scenario. Imagine you meet someone, and instead of making them the center of your universe, you remain the center of your own. You like them, sure, but you're not desperate for their attention. You're not waiting by the phone, you're not overanalyzing, and you're not bending over backward to accommodate them. Instead, you're focused on your own life, your passions, your goals, your happiness. What happens then? Suddenly, you become the one they can't stop thinking about. Why? Because you're radiating confidence. When you know your worth, you don't have to prove it to anyone. You don't have to convince someone to choose you. You don't have to chase, because deep down, you trust that the right person will recognize your value without you having to beg for it. Confidence is about believing that you are enough, just as you are. It's about knowing that if someone doesn't see your worth, that's their loss, not yours. It's about walking away from situations that don't serve you without fear. And let me tell you something powerful. The moment you start embodying this kind of energy, everything shifts. The people you used to chase will start chasing you. The ones who took you for granted will start noticing your absence. And most importantly, you'll start feeling different inside. You'll stop caring so much about who texts first. You'll stop overthinking every little interaction. You'll stop needing constant reassurance because you'll already have that reassurance within yourself. And this isn't just about dating or relationships. It's about every area of your life. Confident people get better jobs. They have stronger friendships. They walk into opportunities that others miss simply because they believe they belong there. Confidence is magnetic because it signals certainty. People are drawn to those who know what they want, who don't second-guess themselves, who don't shrink themselves to fit into someone else's expectations. And the best part? Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. So how do you start embodying this energy today? First, start paying attention to your mindset. What do you believe about yourself? Do you truly believe you're enough, or are you still seeking outside validation? If it's the latter, it's time to shift that. Affirm your worth every single day. Remind yourself that you bring value to any relationship, and if someone doesn't see that, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection. Second, start setting boundaries. Confident women don't tolerate half-hearted love. They don't accept breadcrumbs. They don't waste time on people who don't prioritize them. When you start walking away from situations that don't serve you, you send a powerful message. I know my worth. Third, invest in yourself. Confidence doesn't just come from thinking differently, it comes from being different. Work on yourself. Read books, hit the gym, learn new skills, do things that make you feel powerful, because when you feel good about yourself, it naturally radiates outward. Fourth, stop overgiving. You don't need to prove your love by doing the most. Let people meet you halfway. Let them show you that they value you. The moment you stop overextending yourself, you'll see who actually steps up. And that's a game changer. And finally, detach from outcomes. This is the hardest but most powerful shift you can make. Stop obsessing over whether someone likes you, whether they'll call, whether they'll choose you. Instead, focus on this. Do you like them? Do they add value to your life? Do they meet your standards? When you start asking those questions, you flip the dynamic. And when you detach from needing a specific outcome, you become unstoppable. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's not about acting like you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing that you are already enough and carrying yourself accordingly. And trust me, when you do that, people can't help but be drawn to you. The moment you detach, you show the world how you expect to be treated. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make, and it will transform not only your relationships, but your entire life. So let's talk about what it really means to set the standard. Think about the way you allow people to treat you. Every time you accept behavior that makes you feel small, unimportant, or unworthy, you're teaching the world that this is what you will tolerate. Every time you overextend yourself for someone who doesn't reciprocate, you're setting the standard that your love and effort don't require equal investment. And when you do this long enough, it becomes your normal. You find yourself in situations where people take you for granted, where you feel unappreciated, unseen, and undervalued. And you might even start to wonder, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I always attract people who don't respect my time, my energy, or my love? The truth is, people treat you based on the energy you put out. And if you've been showing up as someone who will always be available, always give, always say yes, even when it's inconvenient or painful for you, then that's the standard you've set. But here's the good news. You can change it. You don't have to keep accepting less than what you deserve. You don't have to stay stuck in a pattern where you give everything and get almost nothing in return. The moment you decide that you will no longer tolerate certain behaviors, everything shifts. So how do you set a new standard? First, you must get crystal clear on what you want and what you will no longer accept. If you don't define your standards, no one else will. What does respect look like to you? What does love feel like when it's healthy? How do you want to be treated in a relationship, in a friendship, in your workplace? If you don't know the answers to these questions, you'll keep settling for whatever is given to you. The second step is enforcing your standards with action, not just words. It's not enough to say, I want respect. You have to show people what that means. If someone consistently ignores your boundaries, doesn't make an effort, or treats you as an option, you can't just complain about it. You have to remove yourself from that situation. And I know what you're thinking, but what if they change? What if I just explain one more time? What if I just try harder? Let me tell you something. The right people won't need endless explanations. The people who truly respect you, who value you, who deserve a place in your life, will adjust their behavior because they care. And the ones who don't, they'll fall away. And that's exactly what needs to happen. You see, setting the standard isn't about changing other people. It's about changing yourself, your expectations, your boundaries, and your willingness to walk away when those aren't met. And I get it, walking away is hard. Detaching from someone you care about, from a relationship you invested in, from a situation that once felt comfortable, it's not easy. But do you know what's even harder? Staying in a cycle where you constantly feel undervalued, where you keep giving more than you're receiving, where you continue to lower your standards just to keep someone in your life. When you finally decide, enough, I will not settle. I will not beg for the bare minimum. I will not keep explaining why I deserve better. That's when you reclaim your power. And do you know what happens next? People rise to meet your standards. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to command respect effortlessly? How they never have to chase anyone, never have to beg for time or attention, never have to convince someone to treat them right. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's because they set a standard and they don't waver. They don't entertain people who play games. They don't waste time with those who can't communicate or commit.